Hello, my friends. I just wanted to share a little bit of advice during this time. Some thoughts about us being isolated, shut in our homes, physical distance, social distance. And I guess I'm particularly speaking to people who have ambitions and who are creative and maybe hard on themselves. And the reason why I'm doing this is because the other day I saw this post, somebody saying, if you don't come out of the other side of this in better shape and having written a book or finished a project that you have or something or other, this just goes to show it wasn't that you didn't have time, it was that you didn't have discipline. And I felt a little bit of, I don't know, anger, maybe resentment come up because I don't think this is the time to be shaming people or making people feel guilty if they're not being super productive. Now, on the one hand, we know psychologists and everybody, health experts are putting out information. It's good to have a routine. It's good to get outside. It's good to do exercise. It's good to eat well. It's good not to drink too much, and it's good to, have a project to work on every day. I know that, I get that, and I try to do that myself. But, shaming people or making people feel guilty for not doing it is not motivating. I mean, on the one hand, yeah, it is motivating. A lot of people use guilt and shame to motivate people, and fear. I know all about it. I was in the church, and the church is expert in using shame and guilt and fear to motivate people. And it's had thousands of years to hone that skill. But I just don't think it's a healthy way to motivate others. I was talking with a friend of mine yesterday who's a musician, and we were just talking about how we're a little bit disappointed and surprised in our lack of productivity right now. And he's like, people are saying, why don't you do a live concert? And he's like, I'm just not feeling it right now. Like I just don't have the motivation to do it right now. And I thought when this all started and I was going to be isolated, I thought, you know what? I have a couple of books in up here, and I should get them down on paper. And you know what? It's just not happening. Now I'm keeping up my routine. I draw a cartoon every day. I'm trying to paint. I am trying to write. I am reading my Sophia series and giving that as a free course on my davidhaywardcourses.com site. And I'm doing all kinds of things still. But to all of a sudden think that I'm going to be super productive, we're in the middle of a pandemic. Nervous laughter there. We're in the middle of a pandemic. Things are happening. Terrible things are happening. I kind of compared it to my friend and I when we were talking yesterday. Kind of compared it to kind of like a low-grade fever. It's you're not normal. It's a little bit raised, your fever, and it's just enough to make you feel grumpy and just a little bit achy and not, a lot of energy and just a little bit sapped and maybe tired but not sick. And I think there's a lot of people suffering with depression already and anxiety and panic and all that. But for many of us, I think there's just this low grade depression and sadness going on that sort of permeates and soaks into everything, so that like take me for instance. I'm worried. I'm not a young man anymore, and there's concerns. My wife's a nurse. She's going to work. I'm afraid for her. The other night as I was going to sleep, I had a picture of her lying in a hospital bed and me not being able to go in and be with her, and her dying alone. What a horrible thought. And very sad. And those are stories that are happening around the world right now as I'm making this video, and right now as you're listening to it. It's horrible things are happening. People are dying. Injustice and greed and corruption and stupidity and dysfunction is on the rampage, not just COVID-19. And, it's very, these are very, very unsettling times where, yeah, people are dying, people are sick. And then on top of that, we're worried about our loved ones. I have loved ones who have preconditions, who have heart issues, lung issues, nervous system issues, mental health issues, like all kinds of stuff going on. And I'm concerned. You know, I haven't been able to hug my kids for, you know, I don't know how long, or even my own wife since she went back to work. And so it's not one of those, you know, oh, I'm on sabbatical, let's get shit done. It's not like that at all. You know, we do see people getting on there and, you know, giving us concerts, and I'm very grateful for that. But, you know, to speak out from a place of privilege where you're not worried about being evicted, you're not wondering where your next meal's coming from, you're not scared to death of your wife dying or catching the coronavirus, or you're not wondering where your next dollar's coming from, or any of these things, you shouldn't make the rest of us feel ashamed for struggling with this and feeling disappointed in ourselves that we're not getting shit done that we thought we would be able to get done because now we have all this time on our hands. No, there's this, like I said, this generalized, there's a word for it, dysthymia. I think it's just this generalized, undefinable depression that's just soaks into and affects everything. So, you know, yeah, it's good to try to be creative and try to get stuff done and try to keep some routines and try to eat healthy and try to exercise and get some fresh air and, you know, all these things. But, you know, don't compare the rest of us to these heroes who, you know, went and discovered the law of gravity during, you know, a plague. Not all of us are like that. Or who wrote his Magna Corpus or whatever happened during a deadly, you know, plague or whatever. Some of us might be able to do that. I'm still hoping I'll get some stuff done. I'm trying to motivate myself, but I'm not going to be guilted. I'm not going to allow somebody to make me feel guilty or ashamed for not doing it, because it's totally understandable, my friends. If you're sad and anxious and a little bit worried and panicking and maybe depressed and down on yourself, because, you know, these are really, really difficult times, scary times. And so I get it. I hope you're gentle with yourself. How about instead of raising your expectations, lower your expectations a little bit. Be more gracious with yourself and loving with yourself and accepting of yourself and forgiving of yourself. Just say, I am who I am. You know, I'm going to get up in the morning. I'm going to try to be healthy and productive and creative and all these things. But I'm not going to try and, you know, write an encyclopedic novel by the end of the day. So don't make people feel guilty. Don't allow people to shame you, or don't be motivated by fear. Those are sick tools that I don't think are healthy for us to use or to accept. So I love you all. Let's hang in there. Let's get through this together. Let's help one another. Let's save one another. Let's appreciate one another. Let's accept and love and forgive and embrace one another. And let's get through this together. Love you guys.